Irvingman! Something new has been added.
The Adventures of Superman. Faster than a speeding bullet.
Yep, guess who's in color now? And because going to color ate up a huge chunk of the budget, guess who now has 13 episodes a season instead of the usual 26? Even though the episodes were filmed in color, they were still broadcast in black and white at first. The last 4 seasons of the show featured 13 news stories, followed by reruns of old stories from the previous seasons. Money was a big factor from the beginning, so it makes me wonder why they made the jump to color when almost nobody could watch it that way. The producers kept everybody in the same outfits all the time so they could shoot things out of sequence. They might set up to shoot scenes for 3 or 4 different episodes in a place like Perry's or Clark's office to save time and money, so that meant the actors sometimes had to have multiple storylines in their heads and sort them all out so they played a scene the way it was supposed to be. It didn't always work, and by the final season everyone was so tired of it they'd look at the rushes and say, good enough, nobody feels like reshooting. Thing is, they were able to get away with it because from here on the show got a lot less serious than it was in the first 2 seasons. You'll see what I mean as we go along. Let's get to it.
Are you looking for someone? Yes. How did you guess?
He's psychic. It had nothing to do with the way you're wandering around reading the nameplates on all the doors. Jimmy says if you're looking for Clark Kent, he's in an important meeting with the boss and can't be disturbed.
Young man, nothing in the world is more important than this. This is the answer to everything.
By golly, he may be on to something. Just pack up everything and stuff it in that box and there's your answer. How much everything can that box hold? Jimmy won't let him barge in. He'll have to come back later. As he's leaving, someone else comes in wanting to get into Perry's office. He's not so polite.
Look, your orders have just been changed, kid.
Oh, you must be Turk Jackson.
Right as rain.
We've been expecting you. Go right in.
Mr. Jackson is a major gangster. He's here to turn himself into Clark and face the music for his criminal history.
Why? Well, my luck was running out. It's just a matter of time, see? So I figured I'd get a better deal if I turn myself in.
Why not go directly to the police?
Because this way I got guarantees. Ked's got a lot of respect in this town. The DA guarantees him that I'll get a square deal. So I get a square deal.
I'm a little fuzzy on what he thinks Clark can do to guarantee that square deal, but okay then. He dictated the confession to Clark over the phone, so Clark had it typed up, and he presents it to Turk. Soon the confession is signed and sealed. All that remains is to deliver it. To the elevator.
Hello, everyone. I've been waiting for you.
Who, us?
Yes. You see, I am Professor Twiddle. I am a scientist.
Clark says, we don't have time for this. The professor says, time! That's exactly what I'm here about. I've conquered time. My machine here can take you to any time period you want to go to. Turk says, this guy's a riot, and where I'm going, there aren't going to be too many laughs. Let's see what his little toy can do. They all agree that they'd like to go to prehistoric times when cave people roamed the earth. Professor Twiddle twiddles his machine, and presto!
It worked!
Holy cow.
I did it! I did it!
Considering how excited he was about it and how eager he was to show it to them, I wonder why he sounds so surprised that it worked. But it did. He made his point, so now it's time to take us back.
Oh, yes. Mr. Kent, now I don't want to alarm you, but I'm afraid that I have spent so much time on the process of getting us here that I have neglected the reverse process.
Let me get this straight. You deliberately brought everyone here, including yourself, knowing you didn't have a way to get any of you back. You know, I'll bet if you guys start taking turns seeing how far you can punt him, by the time you reach 1954, you'll have kicked him clear across Pangea.
Oh, that's all right, Professor. I kind of like it here.
But I'll figure it out. All I need is one certain kind of metal.
We'll never find out why he can't just turn his dial back to 1954 and use the same process he used to get him here, and we won't find out right away what kind of metal he needs.
Madam, please control yourself.
Perry has issues with women.
I try to think of girls as sort of round men.
Meanwhile, Turk is making friends.
Here, turn it in for a new sundial.
They sorted out that the watch is payment for some new clothes, more the local style than the 20th century kind. Turk has decided he's taking over, including taking charge of the machine so nobody gets any ideas about making him go back.
I'm very sorry, Turk, but I'm going to keep charge of this. You see, you might never want to go back, but the rest of us do.
Give me the box. This guy doesn't know when he's knocked out.
And the Oscar for Best Recovery from a Nearly Troublesome Situation goes to... not him.
Clark, he hit you. I saw him.
Lois, will you please let me alone?
Oh, no. Somebody has to look after you, and it looks like I'm elected. Come on.
But Lois bought it. I wonder what Turk is going to think when he sees his gun is dented.
Well, it all may seem like a bad dream, but it's not. They've actually passed the time barrier.
Yes, but only in one direction. Backwards.
How do you spell Neanderthal?
If you can't spell, you've no business being on a newspaper.
Professor, have you anything to say for the 4-star final?
Turk has Jimmy creating a newspaper out of rocks.
Oh, yes, you may quote me. Even science can backfire.
Let's be honest, Professor. Science backfires more often than not. As Dr. Ann McGregor said, we learn more from our failures than we do from our successes. Turk comes in with skins for everyone except Clark. He came up one short, and guess who doesn't have to change his clothes in front of the other guys and reveal his Superman suit underneath? What a lucky break. Turk still refuses to say where he hid the time machine, because if the professor does find the metal he needs, Turk doesn't want him using it. Since he has the gun and at least 5 bullets, there's nothing for it but to go along for now.
Well, not bad. Not bad at all.
Going along does have certain rewards. Hello, Lois.
Who would have ever believed that beneath the classy exterior of the most distinguished editor in Metropolis reposed such an area of plain old red flannel?
Even more rewards. We get to make fun of the chief.
Don't be ridiculous. It's mine. I want it.
Watch it, Professor.
Watch what? Oh, you wouldn't dare shoot me. Someday you may want to get out of here, and I'm your only hope.
Stand back, and the next time out.
Fool. The vibration of that shot caused a cave-in.
Suddenly, Turk wants everybody to work together to get out of there. You get the feeling he's a little claustrophobic.
Do something. Somebody do something.
There's nothing we can do.
Well, perhaps there is something we can do. I guess it doesn't matter who knows now.
Wait, I smell something.
I know that odor. It's coal gas.
More precisely called coal seam gas, aka methane. Toxic and flammable, the reason coal miners keep a canary around. Suddenly, Clark isn't so eager to reveal his secret. Once everyone else is unconscious, he goes to work. Why did he bother to change? Is his tie that expensive? He laid there for 2.5 hours before he realized he took too long to act and they weren't going to get up.
He drove big ass. That can only mean one thing.
His word for earthquake starts with the letter S. We're learning his language. Lois drags Clark off to find Superman, which is a bit like trying to chase your tail when you don't actually have one. Turk goes to look around too, so Jimmy figures he might as well do some exploring of his own.
Oh, please, whatever you do, don't leave me.
Perry wasn't able to escape his new girlfriend's advances. Professor Twiddle advised him to just go with it because that would give him a chance to watch, monitor, and document it. For science, of course.
Listen, you guys. Superman might be around here, but I'm Stone Man, see? And I can do anything that he can do.
He impresses them by making fire with his lighter and chipping the corner off a rock with his gun. They're sufficiently convinced. What he doesn't know is Jimmy is watching him from nearby. Elsewhere, Lois has a case of SF, sore feet. She sits down to rest while Clark goes on to keep looking for Superman. I wonder if he'll find him.
You've got to help us, Superman. You've got to get us back.
The trouble is, I don't know exactly what to do.
Well, there's one thing you can do. The professor has some important information at home. If he had it here, he could figure out the kind of metal he needs.
She expects him to fly through the time barrier, get the professor's notes, then fly through the time barrier again to bring them back here. Question: if he can do that, why doesn't he just make a few trips and carry each of them back to the 20th century?
Clark! Superman, what?
I'm sorry, Miss Lane, I can't do it. I can't crack the time barrier.
Never mind. Turk is explaining to the locals that he's the boss.
Huh?
You're not boss anymore, Turk.
That's what you think. But they think differently. Who's boss? Me or him?
Boss. Far.
Jimmy appears and tells Superman what Turk's been doing. Superman creates fire with his X-ray vision and punches a hole in a rock wall. The cavemen decide he's the boss now.
I'll show you who's boss.
He fired at least 2 rounds already, one in the cave and one to chip the rock. Obviously, that pistol is an 8-shooter.
Superman, you win. What are you gonna do with me now?
Not a thing, Turk. We've all got to learn to live together here somehow. Let's get back to the others.
That was unexpected, but what's he gonna do, take him to jail?
Professor, I'm afraid it's all up to you.
I'm trying, Superman, and I almost have it. You see, what I need is a metal that gives off neutral isotopic rays.
I have a feeling most viewers in 1954 didn't have the ability to Google such a phrase and discover there ain't no such animal. A neutral isotope is an atom. It's not an isotope at all, and since it has a neutral charge, I doubt if it gives off any rays. But we sound all sciencey and multi-syllable-y so we can get away with it. For science, of course. Jimmy starts fishing through Lois's purse for anything metal so he can show the cavemen what they need.
Metal.
Metal!
Don't blame me if he brings back a compact.
Compact. That's it.
That's what, Professor?
Oh, that's it. That's the answer. That's the metal I need.
I'm sorry, Professor, but compact isn't a known metal. It's a style of car.
You see, atoms must be extraordinarily compact in order to give off the right rays.
Well, do you know of such a metal?
I do now. It's called carborium X.
No wonder he couldn't remember the name of it. He hadn't made it up yet.
Well, then let's go find some of that.
I'm afraid it won't be quite that easy. You see, carborium X is found only on meteors.
A meteor is what it's called when it's zipping through the atmosphere and creating what we call a shooting star. Once it hits the ground, it's called a meteorite. Are you saying he has to catch one in midair to get this metal you need? Superman is off to find a meteor. Meanwhile, Turk still won't tell where the machine is, so even if Superman does find some carbohydrate X, it won't do him any good.
Then why don't you let us go back and you stay here?
Nope. I might get lonesome.
We'll make you tell where that machine is.
Turk won't talk unless he wants to. I've got one thing, willpower. I've been worked on by experts.
Where are you going?
Out to find myself a nice, quiet cave, alone.
But won't you get lonesome? And even if you do, are these guys really the company you want? He has the meteorite. Now I'm guessing we need a blast furnace to refine the Cannibal X.
Professor, this isn't easy to say, but this will be the second time I've failed you. You see, your time machine can be almost any place. It could take years to find.
Turk was gone with it for maybe 5 minutes. How far can he walk in that time? Remember, Superman, Stone Man doesn't have your speed. He doesn't even have roller skates.
But I must have it now before the other radioactive elements in it go dead.
Radioactive elements only have a half-life of 30 minutes minus commercials, don't you know? Turk is out walking somewhere when our cave-dwelling friends encounter him.
Metal. Metal.
That's not metal, Dopey. Those are stones.
Huh?
Probably nothing but diamonds. A big, fat diamond.
Huh?
He trades his lighter for what should be about $2 million worth of diamonds in 1954. Suddenly, he's ready to go back because with that much money, he can buy his way out of trouble. Everybody is here except Superman, and Clark says don't worry about him. He's been in contact with the Kookaburra X, so he can break the time barrier now. Good thing he had the foresight to put a hole in it, especially for sticking an unrefined rock into.
Forgot to change clothes first.
As far as I'm concerned, Lois doesn't need to, but Clark does look out of place.
Don't worry, I'll buy everybody a new wardrobe. I'll buy the whole town.
With those?
Diamonds, my boy, a whole handful.
I'm afraid not, Turk. You see, you've got nothing but common quartz here. Ask the professor.
Oh, yes, Mr. Kent's absolutely right. They're worthless.
When you've reached the point in your gangster career where you can't tell the difference between a raw diamond and a piece of quartz, it's time to retire to a nice, quiet cell.
Well, what's the trouble? Didn't you ever see a caveman before?
Clark will stand there and laugh to remind us that we're supposed to laugh too. It really is a good gag, and we didn't need Clark to cue us about it. This season is off to a nice, goofy start. Perry having a girlfriend was too delightful. The lady who played her was named Florence Lake. She grew up in vaudeville, and while she never really found a breakout role, she had a steady career in movies and TV from 1929 to 1977. Not many people have had the fortitude to last 48 years in the business. She died in 1980 at the age of 75, which means she kept working right up to 3 years before she died. I have to salute that kind of endurance and dedication. And I still think Lois should keep the cave woman look.
Thanks for watching, kids. And remember, clicking that like button is cool. Subscribing is even cooler. Leaving a comment is as cool as the coolest person you know. And becoming a patron makes you almost just like Superman. So don't hesitate. Do it today. Until next time.